Now be recorded.
Okay. Good evening. My name is John Troy, Chair of the Harwich Finance Committee, and we have a meeting tonight scheduled of the Finance Committee. It's Tuesday, March 30th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. I'll read a notice from the governor here. And if people could mute their mics if they're not speaking, that will help cut down on some of the background noise. Thank you. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the General Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Town of Harwich Finance Committee on Tuesday, March 30th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right or a requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Harwich's website at www.harwich-ma.gov. For this meeting, the members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so in the following manner: on channel 18 or by watching the simulcast at http://harwich18.dynds.org/cablecast/public/live.aspx ? Channel ID equal 1. No members in attendance of the no in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Town of Harwich's website an audio or video, recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. I'd like to do a roll call vote from members. Mary?
Here.
Mark? Here. Angelo? Angelo? You here? Great. Brian?
Here.
Dan?
Here.
Dale? Oh, you muted Dale.
Here.
Hey, good job. And John. Okay, we've got 7 members present for this meeting. Thank you all. I'd like to welcome guests. Joe Powers is on the call. Carol Coppola. Joe Powers is our town administrator. Carol Coppola is the finance director. And I see a Kelly here. I don't know who Kelly is, but if she wishes to identify herself, she may do so.
Hi, I'm just a member of the public. Excuse me.
Right.
Just listening in.
Love to have members of the public. Thank you, Kelly. So we're moving on to agenda item number 3. We're going to follow up on articles that we have not voted or are considering revoting. So I guess most of them we've talked about, but we're going to reconsider the votes because we have some numbers, financial numbers for 3 of the articles. And the other ones I've been led to believe that we have to have a positive motion or a negative motion on the article. And I'd also like to say, even though we voted the majority of these articles already, if any member wishes to reconsider a motion that we've already voted on, it's definitely their prerogative to do so. And if you do, just let the chair know that you want to do that, and then you'll make the motion of which one you'd like to reconsider, and then someone will second it. We'll do a roll call vote, and then we'll open it for discussion for reconsideration. So again, anyone who wants to reconsider any article, it's your prerogative to do so. going through the articles, the first article that I'd like to have a motion made for reconsideration, unless there's someone else has one between 1 and 13. 13 in the warrant is the ADA sidewalk. We voted on that one 224, and this is one of the articles I've been led to believe that we have to have either a positive motion or a negative motion, but it has to be a motion nonetheless for that. And I'll give you what I know of this article a little bit, and then we'll have Joe can bring it in. He's much more versed in this article than I am. When we voted on this article, or maybe I guess we have to, do I have to do a reconsideration first?
I would think so.
I probably do, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And I've asked Dale again to make all the motions tonight for the articles that I'm going to be talking about. But if someone individually wants to make a motion on a specific article, you have to do that. Dale?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, sorry for the interruption.
No.
Joe Powers. So if you're going to go through reconsideration, and if this was one of your articles that was 2 in favor, 2 opposed, and 4 abstain, then the motion for reconsideration should be made by either of the members that were in the negative or any of the 4 members that abstained.
So, Joe, I was a voter in the negative on this, so I'm happy to make a motion to reconsider.
Okay.
So I would like to make a motion that we reconsider Article 13 related to funds for supporting the ADA compliant sidewalks throughout Harwich Center.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and been seconded for reconsideration on Article 13. We'll do a roll call vote for 13.
So before we do a roll call vote, is there any discussion, John?
I think we have to vote for the vote to do it, and then we open up for discussion.
Yep. Okay.
And then,
We're just voting now that we are going to reconsider it. Is that correct?
correct. Yes.
Okay. Gotcha.
I believe that's the correct procedure. Mary, how do you vote?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. That's a 7-0. I guess I'll start from what I think this is. When we talked about it last time, I was under the impression that this was for a brand new sidewalk. But as it turns out, that there is an existing sidewalk already between the community center and the cultural center. But if I have since talked to a couple people, and it's a little bit bigger than that. That the sidewalk does exist, but it's also like a step in a master plan for all of some sidewalks in downtown, if you want to call it, Harwich Center. The school received a pretty sizable grant to redo some sidewalks around the school, sizable in excess, I think, of close to $700,000. And also there was a grant, a CDBG grant, I'm not quite sure what that acronym is for a grant of $142,021. So this $50,000, is it $50,000 article?
Yeah,
$50,000 article is to tie the sidewalks for this community center to cultural center into these other 2 sidewalk plans. So it's like a master plan for downtown or Harwich Center. Was that a good background, Joe, or do you have any more information on that?
Mr. Chairman, that works for me. CDBG is Community Development Block Grant. It's a program run by the state government with funds that are typically populated by the federal government. And we would be looking to engage in that program should this article go forward.
Okay. Does anyone, no, the motion's out there for reconsideration. We voted for it. That's the backdrop on the article. Does anyone have any questions? And then we'll entertain a motion.
Just to clarify, John, did I understand you correctly that there's an existing sidewalk and this 50K is to connect a few spots where there isn't a sidewalk? Is that what we're talking about?
No, the article clearly spells out there's the community center to the cultural center, and there is a sidewalk there, but it is not ADA compliant. And there's two other sidewalk projects, the school, around the school area, and then this community development block grant. I think that's for like Harwich Center. So this would now tie in the community center to cultural center, Harwich Center, and the schools as one big sidewalk master plan.
So it would take an existing sidewalk and make it ADA compliant?
Well, it would fund the design for that process.
The design for that, okay.
Yes. And so it's nothing to do with construction at all. It's just that as they design these other two projects, this is the third project of a 3-project phase, I guess.
So John, the funding that's available for this particular article is tied to other similar initiatives, and it's funding from a source outside of the town of Harwich?
Joe, I think it's free cash, isn't it?
Correct. The amount that's being asked for in the article is $50,000 for the site plan design work. That was where the effort was left off back in 2019.
And the source is free cash?
Say again?
The source is free cash?
Correct, for the $50,000 for this article. The larger project could be eligible for that community development block grant program, but the town would need to engage the site plan design process before we would be eligible to seek the CDBG funds.
Okay.
So we would be spending $50,000 of our own money to potentially get funding for the construction of a larger program.
Correct, because the site plan design process is not funded by grants. It's a disallowed cost.
Is there a reason why we don't have the other pieces of the puzzle included in this article, that we just have the distance from the Harwich Community Center to the Harwich Cultural Center?
So as the chairman stated, there were concurrent programs and efforts that were underway. The effort that the chairman spoke of was Harwich Elementary School partnering with the Monomoy Regional School District for a Safe Streets to School program. And that's the area that covers generally around the school itself. This effort would tie into that to take from Sisson from the school through the center, Oak Street to the community center, and specifically to meet federal standards for ADA compliance.
But it is specific only to the engineering. It is not, there's no guarantee we would ever get those monies.
Correct.
Simply apply for them without this study having been done.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that last part?
We cannot apply unless the study is done, correct?
Correct. The site plan design has to be completed before we could seek the grant. And Mr. Chairman, if I may, just procedurally, so the reason why you folks were asked to reconsider is simply because you have a requirement in the charter to make a recommendation. And so your previous vote failed to achieve a majority. And that's why you don't presently have a recommendation. And Mr. Chairman, if I may, you had asked last evening, some of the appropriate motions you could make would be the standard as you've seen, that the article be accepted and adopted, or you could also make a motion for indefinite postponement. Either one of those must receive a majority of your committee to be considered in compliance with the charter.
Great, thank you for that clarification, Joe.
Can I ask a question, John?
Sure.
Joe, when, after this is completed, will the town come back to the town meeting or to the finance committee and other people on whether we should go after the money to build it?
The expectation at this point with this, if the site plan design is funded, we'll do that effort and we will seek the community development block grant. We wouldn't know yet because they haven't announced the program, and they did hold off on the program for the current fiscal year because of the pandemic. So we wouldn't know what is available yet for CDBG money, but that would be the next effort. The $50,000, and I would emphasize that it's up to $50,000 for the site plan design. It may not take the full amount, but before we can go after the state federal funds, we would have to have the design work. The next effort, my expectation is the next effort would be to seek those grant funds specifically.
Is there a window of time where these funds are available to us? Do we have to do the study this year?
So the expectation is that this, the CDBG program will be put into effect for fiscal year 22 by the state. So we would want to be able to start as close to July 1 to do the site plan design to then get into that grant process for fiscal year 22. Now, if we get into that program and that's their standard calendar, the next effort would probably get us to the next town meeting.
But you don't, John, one follow-up question for Joe, if you don't mind. You don't need town meeting to approve you applying for the grant. You can do that independently, correct?
Correct. That would be an action of the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to entertain a motion to accept and adopt Article 13, ADA, Harwich Center Sidewalks ADA Design.
I make a motion that we accept and adopt the fund, Article 13, for funds for support of ADA compliant sidewalk through Harwich Center in the amount of $50,000.
Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Mary?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Nay.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark? Mark?
Aye.
Okay. Dale?
Nay.
Aye.
Mark, you were a yes, right? Okay.
Yes.
Your audio is not working 100%. Okay. And Dale, you are no, and I'm a yes. So it passes 5-2. Thank you. Okay. Number 30. If anyone, I'm going to move on to 38 right now. It's the Verizon one. Again, if anyone has any, I want to make a motion to reconsider any article between number 13 and number 38. Please do so now.
Okay, John.
Yes.
So it's Brian. I would like to make a motion that we reconsider Article 36, I believe it is, which is the Sand Pond revitalization.
Yes. Okay. Does anyone have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Mary. We'll do a roll call vote on this.
What article was that, John? I'm sorry, I was
36.
36?
Yes, sir. 36.
Sand Pond revitalization. Okay, Mary?
What? Oh.
How do you vote for reconsideration?
For reconsidering, aye.
Aye, okay. Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Aye. Dan?
No.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
John, I'm an aye also. It passes 6-1. Okay, so that's for the reconsideration now. Is there any discussion on this now?
Yeah, John, I'd like to speak to that. I spent quite a bit of time this afternoon reviewing the CPC project funding request. I also then went back and tried to do historics on Sand Pond to see what kind of impact it had in the community, also on a broader basis for tourism and its asset value to the town. In our last meeting, Selectman McCaskill described the improvements as a plastic wasteland, I believe is the term he used. And I've reviewed the layout, which is available to all of the members on the request that the town had submitted. It is clearly not a plastic wasteland. First of all, the swings are off to the left. There are 4 swings, 1 small spinner, an even smaller spinner, and 3 picnic benches. Then we're going to remove the boathouse, and we're also going to remove those trees to provide for more picnic area. Other than that, this is really only about renourishing the beach in the future, putting a split rail fence up, and essentially enhancing an asset of the town that has been attractive to residents and tourists for a very, very long time. I would respectfully disagree with Selectman McCaskill that this is a resource that people would run to in the off season, like Brooks Park or like the Oak Street, the elementary school over here on Sisson. It's not that same kind of a resource. It's there as something for a little child to do if perhaps they've had enough water or they've had enough sun. But in general, the area that they're looking to provide for protection for falls, which is required, is really quite small. It appears to be about 30 by 40 feet, and it's statutorily required. Overall, I think this takes a very valued asset in this community that my kids learned to swim at, that my neighbors' kids have learned to swim at, and just makes it that much nicer. It is certainly not going to make it a beacon that will draw people away from the beach, in my opinion. They're not going to leave Bank Street, and they're not going to leave some of the other beaches, Red River, and head up there as opposed to spending their time in the ocean. But it is a nice resource for families with little children who are just splashers and just want to get in the water, and they don't want to take a risk. I think it's a wonderful resource. I think enhancing this resource for 80 grand makes great financial sense. It is a CDC grant, and especially in the context of the Brooks Academy investment, which will run close to $5 million when we're all said and done. The initial investment is 1.1. I just think this is something that's used every single day, all summer long. It makes a great deal of sense to us as people who want to draw tourists, people who live and raise their children and grandchildren in this community. And I would urge my fellow members to reconsider this and vote favorably for it.
John?
Yes, Dan? Yes?
Yeah, can I withdraw my no vote and switch it to a yes vote for the record?
For the reconsideration, you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at the wrong article. I apologize.
Yeah, it's no problem, Dan. I mean, we got the vote to reconsider it anyway, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
I know, but just for the record, I'd like to go on record as saying yes.
Okay, so we'll correct that. So yes.
I would
7-0.
urge everyone on the committee to revisit this package. I thought it was really well done. I really felt that we did not benefit from the portrayal of the project in the last meeting. It is just simply not a plastic wasteland. I had to revisit it. I made a bunch of phone calls. I went over there today to take a look at it. I mean, I just think this is a terrific resource in our community. What we're looking to do here is minimal, and we'll make it just that much nicer for families with little children.
You've convinced me, Brian.
Brian, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What is the total cost of this project?
The total cost, the CPC has allocated, I believe, $83,000, of which 10% contingents, $83,500, of which 10% is a contingency. And to be fair, yes, the bulk of the monies are invested in Selectman McCaskill's description of playground equipment. He's absolutely correct. So the playground surfacing is probably the largest single number.
Probably not. I mean, they have people that they have to hire to do this. They don't have a full plan. And I really don't like approving things like this where you don't know where it's going to go. They have the bathroom they have to build, which is a couple hundred, some money. They have everything else they have to do. So this $83,000 is just a small portion of whatever's going to go on. And then, of course, there's going to be people there who have to work there during the summer. And I don't know what that'll cost us. And what I hear is that the people who are living in that area really don't want it there because they think that having people in the water there will once again ruin the water that's in that little pond. And they'd have problems as they've had for the last number of years. So I think that they've done a terrible job of not laying out what the entire project is and how much it costs.
So Angelo, I suggest to you that the issues that the neighbors have are nitrogen driven and they come from their septic systems. I spent a lot of years working on nitrogen loading and the issues with nitrogen in small ponds and lakes here on the Cape. And the nitrogen load is the issue. Swimmers for 12 weeks in the summertime are not going to nitrogen load that water.
Fine, but what is the cost to the town to do this?
They're not speaking to, they're clearly not proposing that they rebuild those bathrooms this year. So my assumption is they're going to install portable toilets.
No, they have money somewhere that have been.
There is no money.
It's not in the budget. It's not in the budget, but they had funds that they've asked for funds to do it, and they're going to redo it. So I think I think it's not appropriate.
This proposal speaks to the destruction, removal of the old facility. It doesn't speak to the installation of a new facility.
Well, yeah, okay. So then if they try and put anything else in, you'd vote against it?
I mean, right now, I can't speak to that because that's not what's in front of us. And it would be, I mean, what I really want is to see this resource preserved. It's really, if you look at some of the tourist materials that are produced, it's a constant resource. I think it's very attractive for our community to have it.
My kids went there and that's where they learned how to swim also. I think it was great. I am concerned with putting together and approving a project where you only get a small portion of the dollars that you have to deal with. And then somebody comes back and wants some more and more and more.
That's Brooks Academy, Angelo. That's Brooks Academy.
I don't want to do Brooks Academy either that way.
And the utilization here is high. The utilization of Brooks Academy is nominal at best.
Okay.
We're investing in a landmark. This is a resource that draws people to our community and is a resource that our families use with their children and grandchildren. That's why I think for the reconsideration. And again, I respect your opinion. I would urge the members to vote favorably in this. I think this resource, not investing in it is just a bad decision for all of us in this town.
Well, why can't we just wait until next year and ask them to lay out the full plan and the total cost, and then I'd be honored to vote for it if it makes sense.
No, but I feel the same way about Brooks Academy, and this is 1/10 of Brooks Academy's budget, not even 1/10. And this is a resource that gets used all summer long, day in and day out.
Okay.
Any discussion? Let's just make a couple comments to folks that have made some suggestions. We did have Eric come in and speak to us on this article, March 12th, I believe. He gave us a full background on the project itself. And to Angelo's point, the only one that he really didn't have an answer for was the costs of maybe adding, because I don't believe there's lifeguards there now, instructors and things like that. He didn't have a cost associated with that portion of it. The bathroom piece, that article has been approved by town meeting. And from what and first, I don't get many emails from folks on articles, but I got a lot of emails on this one. People sending me emails and stuff, and asking me questions and things like that on it, because there was a lot of people interested in it. But the bathroom was approved, I believe, last year's town meeting, and I believe that procurement process is underway as we speak. I do not have a delivery time on the bathroom. Maybe Joe can talk to that briefly. But the bathroom has been approved and will be going in. Don't know when. And I did speak with Eric about this article. And in the 15 years that he's been testing the water there at Sand Pond, it has never had an issue with water quality at all in 15 years that's been unsafe for swimming. And the long-term costs of, I guess we want to call it operational costs of reinstituting lifeguards, and if lifeguards aren't there, I'm not 100% sure on that. And for swimming instructors, we don't know that particular cost. But some of the folks I did speak to were folks whose basic desire is to keep it small and to keep it neighborhoodish. They feel that by building a playground, even though it's small in size, it's, you build it, they will come, and it will lose that small neighborhood feel. I can't address that. What I did talk to Eric about and was that maybe there is some compromise here, but that's not what we're voting on tonight. What we're voting on tonight is $83,000 and $83,500 for a revitalization of Sand Pond, which includes a small playground. There might be some compromise, but that's up to the rec committee and what they want to do, that maybe they won't seek the playground piece of it. I don't know, can't speak to that, but it was a suggestion that I talked about. We'll learn more about it on town hall, but right, like Brian's saying, what we're voting for tonight is $83,500 as written up for revitalization, which includes the playground equipment. If anyone has any...
One other thing, John, which is that as a grandfather of two little girls, if I have to tell them to get out of the water and get on the swings, I've got a prayer. I have got a prayer of succeeding in that. These children are going to want to be in the water. That's a trade-off for a kid that's having a fit, because my kids are going to want to be in the water, my grandkids. So
I agree, Brian. But again, I think that the big issue here is wanting to keep it smallish in stature, neighborhood and feeling, and by opening it up with the playground. I don't know, but that's the sentiment that I got from the people that reached out to me and talked to me about it. So I voted in favor of this last time, and I intend to do so tonight again. Okay, so we've had a motion to reconsider. It's been out there. If someone would like to make a motion to accept and adopt.
So I make the motion that we accept and adopt the proposal for $83,500 to revitalize the Sand Pond. And this would be phase 2 per the proposal that was presented to the CPC.
Second.
Okay, we've had a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Okay, hearing none. Mary, how do you vote?
Aye.
Hello?
Hello. How are you?
Angelo?
No.
Brian?
Yes.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Nay.
Dale?
No.
I'm a yes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 yeses and 3 noes. The Sand Pond revitalization under reconsideration passes 4-3. Thank you, Brian, for your for reconsideration. And thank you all for talking about this. And okay, the next article I have for reconsideration is the Article 38. If anyone has anything else between Sand Pond and 38, please let me know. Hearing none, we'll move on to 38. This is the Verizon permanent easement, and we've indefinitely postponed it. I'd like to revisit this article. I have some more information. The selectmen have more language that they voted on last night, and they voted affirmative for this 3-0. If someone can make a motion for reconsideration.
John, I'm looking at Article 38 in the packet that was posted on the website tonight. And for 38, I see the Wetlands Protection Bylaw.
That was probably an old warrant that I had posted on our website, Dale.
So
I sent out last night the official warrant that was the selectmen voted on last night.
So is that in the email, not on the one posted on the website?
Yes. Yeah, and that was the packet I had printed up at the town hall today. Or
Okay.
I sent that warrant out last night.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was downloading the one that was on the website.
It's okay. So motion's been made. Is there anyone second this?
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. We'll do a roll call vote on it. Mary?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Okay, it passes 7-0 on the roll call vote. Again, this is Verizon. It's on Harbor Road, which is the road from 28 down to the Stonehorse Yacht Club, Witchmere Harbor, Fish Pier. And I guess there's a telephone pole on both sides of the road that Verizon needs to go underneath the road to the other telephone pole with some fiber optic cable. And on that pole, they're going to put some cell boosters for the area, and it's a permanent easement to do all this work. The selectmen had language changed in the warrant. If you read tonight, the warrant they sent out last night, the correct language in there. And again, the selectmen voted 3-0. So I'd like to entertain a motion that we accept and adopt this article.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept and adopt Article 38 to grant permission for an easement for Verizon to Cello Partnership on Harbor Road.
I'll second.
Seconded. Any discussion, further discussion? Okay, Mary, how do you vote?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
And aye. That passes 7-0. Thank you. Okay, the next three articles, starting at 43, does anyone wish to reconsider anything between Article 38 and 43? Okay, hearing none. These are three articles that we voted, no recommendation pending further information. Well, we have the further information on these three articles. And so I'd like, and then those numbers are printed in the warrant that you folks have in front of you. And then when the motion is made, if we get a second to do it, we'll state those numbers. I'm just getting to that section in my warrant here. Okay, the first one is the stabilization fund. And I'd like to have someone make a motion to reconsider this article.
I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider Article 43 related to the stabilization fund.
Second.
Second.
Seconded. Motion's been made. Any discussion, or we just go right to the vote? Mary?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Okay, 7-0, it passes for reconsideration. Like to entertain a motion that we accept and adopt as written in the warrant for the stabilization fund. Do you have that number, Dale?
Yes, I've got $1,074,171.
If you want to make the motion with that number in it.
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept and adopt Article 43 related to the stabilization fund at the cost of $1,074,171.
Second.
Second? Second for this?
I think Mary seconded.
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay, I didn't hear you. Sorry, Mary.
No,
Okay, great, seconded. Okay, as Dale read, it's $1,074,171. This is the stabilization fund. There's two numbers that contribute to this $1,074,171. It's the first one. I didn't do the math, so well, I guess I can do the math. Last year, to help balance the budget, the town borrowed from the stabilization fund with the intent to pay it back. And this is the payback for that. And that was the money that was borrowed last year was $574,171. And then the other $500,000 is the contribution to build the stabilization fund. So that's how you come up with $1,074,171. Is there any further discussion on this? Okay, here.
Not so much a discussion, but a question. Do we typically, on an annual basis, contribute $500,000 to the stabilization fund?
I don't know historically what that is, Dale. Maybe Joe knows that historical number, or maybe Angelo. You've got a lot of history, Angelo. Or Carol can do it. That's even better. Carol, how about Carol?
Hi, good evening. It certainly depends on how free cash was set as to what has been historically deposited into the stabilization and the OPEB funds. But typically, the last time there were funds were voted for this purpose, they were voted at $550,000. And that was 2 years ago. I don't know if that helps.
Any other questions, Dale?
Well, I guess I just feel like this is a double dip this year. We're paying back for last year where we clearly needed the money, and then we're trying to contribute again this year. And I'm not so sure this year is going to be a typical year. You know, I'm not really comfortable that we should burden the taxpayers with $1 million hit to fund the stabilization fund if we don't have to.
So this is being funded from free cash. The only other, your other option certainly is to just leave it as free cash and to perhaps use it for a different purpose. But so we're not going to be raising taxes, although I agree with you, you already raised them for, previously.
Okay.
So
So the cash is there.
yes.
Okay. Thank you, Carol.
One other question. What then does stabilization money get used for?
Carol, can you do that?
Well, it's Joe. I'm off camera and I have a snarky comment. And the snarky comment would be pandemic. So the stabilization, I've always been taught, and Carol can speak more eloquently than I and elegantly, but I was always taught that your stabilization fund is your rainy day fund. And so you want to have reserves. And, to the earlier comments and questions, this is a concerted effort by both administration, me, and finance, Carol, to first and foremost honor the commitment that the selectmen made to town meeting on September 26, 2020, to replenish stabilization, because we took the extraordinary step of using that to balance the budget because of the pandemic. And to Carol's point, I was fumbling around as Carol was answering, and so we didn't do stabilization for fiscal year 21 or the 2020 annual town meeting. And the prior year we did 550,000, and the year before that we did 600,000. And so what we're trying to do is to get back on track with a quote minimum level of $500,000. And so that's why you see the odd number. Literally, it's the figure from last town meeting repaid, so to speak, and trying to get to at least the $500,000 mark. And so stabilization is meant to be your rainy day fund, hence the snarky answer in the beginning, meaning we had to rely upon that in the earliest days of the pandemic. And as the selectmen had said at town meeting, they felt that that's what it was there for. And so I think it's good financial management to replenish that, to get it back on track, so that we can say that we're averaging just over $500,000 for the last 2 years. And you'll hear a similar statement from me if need be under OPEB as well. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Yes, that answered my question.
Other questions? Okay, hearing none, I'd like to take a vote now. Mary, how do you vote?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Aye, that passes 7-0. Okay. Moving on, very similar to the stabilization fund is the next one on the list is OPEB trust fund. And again, we voted no recommendation pending further information. We have that further information now, as you can see in your warrant. It's a contribution of $500,000. I'd like to entertain a motion to reconsider Article 44.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider Article 44 related to the OPEB trust fund for an estimated cost of $500,000.
Second.
It's been seconded. Mary?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
That's 7-0 for the reconsideration. Okay, now I'd like to have a motion made for accept and adopt this article.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept and adopt Article 44 for the OPEB trust fund in the amount of $500,000.
Second.
It's been seconded. Is there any discussion on OPEB for folks that maybe in the audience that don't know what OPEB stands for? It's other post-employment benefits. It's basically, correct me if I'm wrong, Carol, but it's basically retirement benefits for the town's employees when they retire. And this is an annual contribution. I don't know what the past years were, Dale, if Carol could maybe say that, or Joe. I will make one comment on this fund, and maybe Carol can supply the numbers, is that this is a number that's a very big number, like, and Carol can, that's not, it's just a big number that hasn't been fully funded. Like a lot of pension funds around the country are totally grossly underfunded. I don't have the specifics on ours, but it's a pretty big number, and Carol can probably speak to that.
The current liability for the town of Harwich is $42 million. Every 2 years, the town undergoes an actuarial valuation, and will be the year that we'll have a new valuation. So, but the latest one was $42 million. Currently, there's just under $3.7 million in the OPEB fund. In FY21 or town meeting of 20, the town did not contribute to that fund, except for the water department that contributes on an annual basis $50,000. So for the proposed budget and this proposed warrant article, the total that would be contributing to OPEB, which is other post-employment benefits other than pensions. So it's really your health insurance and life insurance that the town is providing to retired employees. This would be $500,000 here. The proposed budget includes $250,000, and the water department budget includes $50,000. So this would be another $800,000 that would go into that fund, which is currently at just under $3.7 million.
And the pension liability, like Carol said, is $42 million. So it's
About how much do you use a year of that for the retirees?
How much is paid on an annual basis by the town?
Yes.
I can get that for you if you just give me a minute, okay?
Sure.
Okay, I don't think so, unless you want to wait for this and we can move on, but I don't think it'll affect.
We can move on. I just wanted to know the rest of the story. But we can
No,
move
it's
on.
an excellent question, Mary. And I've asked that question in the past. I just can't remember what it is. I don't want to misstate it. So, and Carol will get the number. Okay, you got it, Carol?
It's just under $2.5 million that the town pays on an annual basis for health insurance for retired employees. So that includes school employees too, because prior to Monomoy Regional School District, Harwich had its own school department. And so that would include those employees as well.
Great. Thank you, Carol.
Hearing no further discussion, I'd like to entertain a roll call vote. Mary?
Aye.
Aye. Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Okay, that passes 7-0. Thank you all. Moving on to Article 45. Prior year's unpaid bills. Again, this was a no recommendation pending further information. We have that information there. It's in the warrants that you folks have. If someone could make a motion to reconsider.
I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider Article 45 to fund the prior year's unpaid bills.
Second.
Been seconded. Mary, how do you vote?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Ann?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
I have an aye. Okay, the motion's been made, seconded, and was passed 7-0 for reconsideration. I'd like to entertain a motion now to accept and adopt this article.
I'd
Yeah,
like to make a motion that we accept and adopt Article 45 to fund our prior year's unpaid bills in the amount of $21,349.
Second.
okay, it's been seconded. This is pretty clear what the article's title is. This is bills that have come in that weren't paid, and it's for to pay those bills. Any questions? Hearing none. Mary, how do you vote?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Dale,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. That passes 7-0. Okay. After the stabilization funds, we voted on all the other articles: promote town of Harwich, defray the costs of libraries, the local cultural grant, and last but not least, the herring fisheries, Mark's favorite article. And so that concludes us voting on the articles.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Yes?
This is your off-camera administrator. I didn't have it in my notes. Could you confirm what the vote was on Article 30? Because I do not have that recorded in the draft.
That was a no vote, 3-4. 4 noes, 3 yeses.
Sorry, it was 4-3, but what was the recommendation?
We weren't in favor of
The motion was to accept and adopt, and the motion failed. 3-4.
Okay, so then, Mr. Chairman, that would be one of those items where you don't presently have an active recommendation.
Okay. Thank you for the point.
Yeah.
So by us voting 4 no and 3-4, that's not a recommendation then, I guess?
So if the motion was to accept and adopt, and the yeas were 3 and the nays were 4, the motion was not adopted. So you don't have a recommendation. So without leading you to a conclusion, a countervailing motion could be a motion to indefinitely postpone.
Okay.
Again, that's not my recommendation, but I just want to give you your options. But you don't presently have a recommendation.
Okay.
Reject the motion to accept and adopt.
Well, I think we have to reconsider Article 30. And then once we accept the reconsideration, then we make a motion not to accept and adopt Article 30. Is that correct, Joe?
So after reconsideration, if it's the intention of a majority of the Finance Committee to not support the article, an appropriate motion would be a motion to indefinitely postpone.
Okay, understand.
Why
Okay,
is the same as voting negatively on this motion?
So a negative result is a null action. If I understand correctly, that the motion was to accept and adopt, and the members in favor were 3, and the members opposed were 4, the motion didn't carry.
Correct.
So the motion fails. So the recommendation failed. So you don't have a recommendation to town meeting.
So is there a motion to reject an article?
Not to reject, the standard would be indefinite postponement. That would have the net effect of not bringing it forward.
Except it
But I'd
has
like to
very much a different connotation. It has a totally different connotation.
Yeah. So what I'd like to do is have Dale make a motion to reconsider Article 30, the East Harwich Methodist Cemetery.
Certainly. I'd like to make a motion that we reconsider Article 30 related to the East Harwich Methodist Church Cemetery Gravestone Project.
Second.
Motion's been made and been seconded. I'd like to do a vote. Mary?
Aye.
Angelo?
Aye.
Ryan?
No,
Reconsider?
no.
Ryan? No, yes. Dan?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it passes. For reconsideration, it passes 6-1. Okay. Motion's been made and for reconsideration. And I'd like to entertain another motion now to indefinitely postpone Article 30, East Harwich Methodist Cemetery Preservation Project.
Sure. I'd like to make a motion that we indefinitely postpone Article 30 related to the East Harwich Methodist Church Cemetery Gravestone Project.
Second.
Second.
It's been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor of indefinitely postponing Article 30, the Gravestone Preservation Project. And again, on these indefinitely postponements, this for folks in the audience or for here, it's typical that at town meeting, we get together with the selectmen and reconsider any articles that we're not in agreement on. And then we go to town meeting with that. So this is not the final. We can figure it out before town meeting. Okay. Any further discussion on definitely postponing Article 30? Mary?
Aye.
Aye. Angelo?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye. Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
And John, I'm an aye. Okay, definitely postponing Article 30 passes 7-0.
John?
Did you skip Mark?
I'm an aye.
Oh, excuse me. So sorry, Mark. Mark.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry, Mark. Okay, 7-0. Okay, and I believe that take care of all the articles, Joe.
According to my notes, yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to your members for your exceptional efforts to get this done. I truly appreciate it, and it will be circulated this week for the board signature to be posted in accordance with the charter's requirements. We are 37 and a half days away from town meeting. Great work, folks.
And Joe, thank you very much for participating in these deliberations and stuff. And I'd like to give you a call tomorrow, Joe. I just want to make sure that that I understand, and Brian, who's helped me tremendously on this, and thank you, Brian, for the spreadsheet and everything you're doing, as far as what we have to do officially for recommendations to get this into print for you, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Joe. If there's no other questions, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And from what I understand, we don't even have to do a roll call vote. So thank you all for attending, and get an echo. I guess this is a good time to thank you all, and thanks again, Brian, for your work and helping me with this, and Carol and Joe. Thank you all.
Night, everybody.
Thank you, John. Good night, everybody.
Good.
This conference is no longer being recorded.